Previously on Asgard vs. the Universe. Stage 2 of Ultron has a forced interrupt that when he attacks you, you put the top card of your deck into play face down engaged with you as a drone minion. Then, until the end of that attack, Ultron gets +1 for each drone minion engaged with you. It is entirely possible that we could be taking a lot of damage each attack. Spoilers for Juggernaut. There are so many incredible moments in Marvel canon. But have I told you about the time that Thor defeated the Juggernaut? Hello everybody and welcome to another installment of my infinitely long series where I play Marvel Champions, a living card game by Fantasy Flight Games, and prove that one of my favorite heroes, Thor, is technically capable of defeating every villain in the game. In this installment, as I accidentally make my way through the next evolution box, we'll be facing off against Cain Marko, aka the Juggernaut, in a scenario that I thought was going to be pretty straightforward. And in some ways I was right, as Thor went straight forward into critical condition several times. Okay, so that's all getting a little ahead of ourselves. For this scenario, I had a hunch that a Justice deck was going to be exactly what I needed to best the Juggernaut. The two factors to be mindful of in this scenario are Juggernaut's helmet, and by extension the momentum counters he accrues, and the main scheme, which can't scheme out, but does trigger an attack from the Juggernaut that can hit us and defeat us on the spot, even in alter ego form. I wanted to use Surveillance Team to offset the threat every turn. Upside the Head to get a confused status on Cain, buying us a few extra trips to alter ego, and allies like Wiccan and Monica Chang to chip in extra damage due to Juggernaut's weakness to cards with a printed mental resource on them. This brings us to Hope Summers, a required companion in this endeavor, and a piece that, if she were to leave play, we lose the scenario, so she can't die. She is going to benefit from Thor's high attack, but we're still going to be hampered by Thor's low thwart, as that stat will also be copied. The problem I kept running into is that Justice is great at keeping the schemes in check, but we're looking at a main scheme with a very low threshold of 7 and only 3 side schemes. 4 if we hit Shadow of the Past and have to deal with Family Feud. Additionally, Thor is a hero that thrives on minions, but the minions we're dealing with either have Guard, Quick Strike, and Stun whomever they hit, or Black Tom Cassidy, who goes and finds one of those allies with Guard, Quick Strike, and stuns whomever they hit, meaning that we are trading card advantage for tempo every time a minion comes into play. Additionally, due to the complexity of Creeping Willow, I have to imagine that I forgot to use my Have At the ability more times than I care to admit. All that to say, for this scenario, I think we need to pivot to either aggression or protection, and I look pretty good in red. My opening hand is Bombs Away, Defender of the Nine Realms, God of Thunder, Death Focus, and Piercing Strike. Unlike other scenarios, we've got to look at this hand based on very specific factors. Not only are we planning out our first turn, but we need to figure out how we're going to flip Juggernaut's helmet based on the printed resources of our cards. I'd love to use Defender of the Nine Realms to turn one card into 2, but we stun ourselves in the process. And I also want to use Piercing Strike to remove the tough status. Oh, no, don't worry, we'll fix that in a second. Ultimately, I keep Death Focus and Piercing Strike with the hope of either getting a resource generator into play or sticking damage on the opening turn. Mulliganing into Combat Training, Attack Training, and Angela. Meaning that in order to flip Juggernaut's helmet, I'm likely going to need to expend physical resources. My first action is to go find Mjolnir, change to my hero form, and play out Angela in hopes of finding a minion, drawing some cards, and getting that boosted damage from Angela's printed mental resource. And our options are Black Tom Cassidy and Creeping Willow. I don't want to deal with Villainous right now, so I choose Creeping Willow. This stuns me and brings my life total to 13, but also draws me into Brute Force and Energy. This is a bit of change of fortunes for me, allowing me to flip Juggernaut's helmet with energy resources. I play out Mjolnir and attach Attack Training to Hope Summers. Not for nothing, but Combat Training may have been the better option here, but that might just be a case of revisionist history. I clear the stun on Thor. Hope Summers gets an attack on Creeping Willow for 4, since she benefits from Thor's high attack stat, and Angela breaks the tough. Then I ready up and draw Endurance, Brute Force, and the Power of Aggression. For his first attack, Juggernaut comes at Thor for 5 total damage. This brings me to 8 hit points, and my encounter card is Siderax Exemplar, flipping the helmet and placing a momentum counter on Juggernaut. On my turn, I play out Combat Training and Endurance, bringing my attack to 4 and my hit points to 11. Angela attacks Juggernaut down to 16, Thor brings him to 12, and Hope comes in swinging for 5, bringing Juggernaut to 7. I change to Alter Ego form in an effort to have a large enough hand size to flip the helmet next turn, drawing into Defender of the Nine Realms, Quinn Carrier, Hammer Throw, Attack Training, and Piercing Strike. Juggernaut schemes for 2, and the boost ability on Creeping Willow stuns Thor. My encounter card is Gang Up, which surges into Advance. Juggernaut schemes for 2, and the boost ability on Trample damages Hope Summers for 1. Ultimately, the main scheme reaches the completion point, meaning that all the threat will be removed. We flip over the helmet, if applicable, we place a momentum counter on Juggernaut, and he attacks us, regardless of what form we're in. I get away with an attack for only 4, bringing me to 7 hit points. My turn consists of paying to flip over the helmet and dispersing of all the momentum. Then I clear the stun, Angela attacks Juggernaut down to 3, and Hope finishes the first stage of Juggernaut, reciting him to 21 hit points, giving Juggernaut a momentum counter, flipping over his helmet, and ending my turn. I ready up, drawing Hand Cannon, Unshakable, and Thor's Helmet. Due to Juggernaut having 4 attack before the boost card, I elect to defend, negating 2 of the 7 damage, bringing Thor to 2 hit points. At this point, Hope is our only hope. Because if this falls apart, I can't switch to Valkyrie. My encounter card is Breakthrough, forcing me to discard combat training over simply losing the game. Hope attacks the villain down to 17, and I hammer throw to bring Juggernaut to 9 hit points. Then I change to Alter Ego and draw a fresh hand of Hand Cannon, God of Thunder, Asgard, Avengers Mansion, and Lady Sif. Not the most desirable hand if I want to finish this next turn. Juggernaut schemes for 4.
You've reached the voicemail of Charles Xavier. I'm away right now, so please leave a message after the beep.
Hey Xavier, I thought you said your brother was dumb. And my encounter card is Siderax Exemplar, meaning that due to the helmet already being on Juggernaut, 4 threat will be placed on the main scheme, and I will get attacked in Alter Ego form, losing the scenario. Well, at least we're all on the same page as to what I'm up against. So I made a few more attempts with Justice, Aggression, and Protection. I can say that Cosmo made a really good showing at one point too, but I kept running into these situations that were frustrating, but in the way that I was getting so close, and then just getting bad luck when it came to stuns and needing to defend, which really just kind of messed with my progress. And then I realized that I was using Protection for damage mitigation. I should have been using it to ready. My opening hand is Power of Protection, God of Thunder, Lady Sif, What Doesn't Kill Me, and Defender of the Nine Realms. I reason that Defender of the Nine Realms is going to be a dead card here, and that What Doesn't Kill Me is not going to serve a purpose in the first turn. With 2 wild resources in my hand, I elect to keep God of Thunder as a potential resource generator and mulligan into Lightning Strike and Mjolnir. I pay to get Juggernaut's helmet off and play out Mjolnir. I break the tough on Juggernaut, and Hope deals 4 damage with that mental resource boost, bringing Juggernaut to 14 hit points. I ready up and draw Limitless Stamina, Godlike Stamina, Iron Fist, and Avengers Mansion. I take an undefended attack for 4 and go down to 10 hit points. Then my encounter card is Creeping Willow. More guard, more stuns, more speed bumps. Okay, we're down to 9 hit points. Godlike Stamina does me a solid and recovers 2 hit points for me and clears the stun. Lesson learned. Do not sully the name of Godlike Stamina. Thor takes out Creeping Willow, and I play Limitless Stamina to ready back up. Hope brings Juggernaut to 10 hit points, and then I remembered my Have At The ability, drawing Unshakable and Thor's Helmet. It was a good catch. I proceed to thwart the main scheme, then play out Thor's Helmet, skyrocketing to 16 hit points. I ready up and draw Strength, Hammer Throw, and Ever Vigilant. The undefended attack from Juggernaut is only for 2, and my encounter card is Breakthrough, causing me to take 2 more damage. I start my turn by attacking Juggernaut down to 7 hit points. Then Hope follows that up with an attack for 4, and I play Ever Vigilant to clear the main scheme and ready Thor, attacking once more, defeating the first stage. With Juggernaut reset to 21, Helmet Clad, and building momentum, I elect to change to Odin's Son and keep 1 copy of Hammer Throw, drawing into Defender of the Nine Realms, Limitless Stamina, Genius, and What Doesn't Kill Me. I like this hand. I don't really want to burn most of it just to flip over the helmet, but with 21 hit points, I don't think that I can make my way through all of that and let Juggernaut maintain his momentum. At present, Hope, Thor, Limitless Stamina, and What Doesn't Kill Me all represent 3 damage, meaning that I'm going to need to avoid getting stunned across 2 activations and 2 encounter cards, and I need to draw a ready next turn. And then there's Hammer Throw, which represents 8 damage at the trade-off of most of my hand. Juggernaut schemes for 2, and the boost on Creeping Willow stuns me, and my encounter card is Ground Pound, bringing me to 8 hit points. Juggernaut has 4 cards in the encounter deck that really mess with this scenario. Breakthrough, Siderax Exemplar, Flatten, and Ground Pound. Representing 9 cards in the encounter deck, these 4 cards mess with the math in a way that makes the scenario frustrating, but still kind of fun to try to work my way through. On my turn, I make a basic recovery going up to 12 hit points, and I change to my hero form. I pay 3 physical resources to flip over Juggernaut's helmet and attack with Hope Summers. Then I ready up and draw What Doesn't Kill Me and Lightning Strike. Looking to preserve my life total, I defend against the attack and get away with only 3 damage. My encounter card is Flattened, giving me the choice between damage or momentum. Honestly, what's the harm in giving him some momentum at this point? Hope attacks for 4, and I unfortunately need to clear the stun with Hammer Throw and replay Mjolnir. I ready up and draw Asgard, the Power Protection, Ever Vigilant, and Quinn Carrier. I once again defend against an attack, resulting in 5 damage, and my encounter card is Creeping Willow. Oh my god, I've had breakups that went better than this. On my turn, I use Ever Vigilant to bring the main scheme from 5 down to 3 and ready Thor. Hope takes the Creeping Willow out, and I clear the stun on Thor before changing to Odin's Son. I ready up and draw a new hand of Ever Vigilant, Ironheart, Hammer Throw, Defender of the Nine Realms, and Energy. Juggernaut schemes for 2, and the boost ability on Trample deals 1 damage to Hope Summers. If I can be honest, I just need to avoid Black Tom Cassidy and Creeping Willow. I can't live like this. And my encounter card is Shadow of the Past. Okay, we're going to make this happen. After resolving all of that, I pause hard just to assess the situation. I have come too far to go out like Charlie Brown. If I change to hero form, there's no doubling back to heal. Juggernaut is at 13. Hope represents 4 damage, Thor represents 3, and Hammer Throw wins the game. I'm certain. 10, 7, 0. Honestly, this scenario really had my number at one point. And it was frustrating, but in a fun way. The fun came from trying to solve the puzzle. Unlike On the Run, which just had my number beat to beat for a week. I think I kind of knew this was going to happen, though, because Juggernaut was the first scenario in the box when I played it last fall that really gave me a lot of trouble. And I just don't think that when I was using Cable and Domino, I needed to think about readying up and clearing statuses as much as that became the game here. And honestly, Godlike Stamina was kind of the silent MVP here. If I had had one more attempt at this, if this attempt had failed and I needed to take another attempt, I would have subbed out something else for a third copy. Because at this point, I only had 2. And it was just that good. And I would have wanted it more often. I think I'm going to move on to something like a Green Goblin because I kind of looking forward to a scenario that I don't need to split hairs just to achieve victory. But until next time, thank you for making it all the way to the end. And if you enjoy what you're seeing here, please support me in whatever way you can. Until next time, I'll see you then. With Juggernaut reset to 21, helmet clad,